Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. Glad you guys could all make it out. We've got JH586, Kyle Lusk with us. We're going to have Chico Wise hopefully in here in a little bit. We might hear from a Mooser 316. We did, as you guys may have heard, had a little weather here in Georgia and Florida, in my part of the state anyway. And we came out all right. And hopefully I'll hear from Eddie B and some of the other guys in the chat that are in Georgia. Make sure that they're doing all right. But I don't think we have no guests coming in tonight that I'm aware of, and topics are kind of open. So let's go ahead and say hi and whatever else.
Hey everybody, thanks for jumping by. Happy Friday. Busy day today. Went to the range, got my Taco Apocalypse video up. It's not public yet, but it should be going live on the Reloaders Network any minute. Hopefully Mr. Bacon's watching and he can go ahead and do what he has to do to get that live on the Reloaders Network, and then I've got it set to go live on YouTube on Sunday morning, but I'll probably change that till tomorrow night. Got a good many. We got 16 already in the chat room. I've worked on what am I up to now on the 35 Remington series? Load 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think 6.
Well, that's done. I got the testing done. I've got the videos done. I'll be editing that and posting it up pretty soon. And Mr. Chico Wise from the Dirty South has joined us. And with that, I'll let Kyle say, hey.
Hey. What's going on, guys? Glad y'all could make it out. We're up to 17 now.
Woo!
Willie had surgery today, and I saw he just put a video up. So I think everything's okay because the title of the video was after surgery. So I think everything's going all right. He had actually requested last night, me and him and Jamie were talking. He requested that we talk about, excuse me, I've got sinus issues that have been driving me nuts. He requested that we talked about gun cleaners, gun cleaning solvents, what we use, what we like, what we don't like, why we don't use certain things, and why we want to use other things.
That sounds like a heck of a good topic to me. We have a really big chat. Hey, it's a big night. Big Al, Insight Freedom, Loaded Cap Gun. I did see Floyd Hicks. Good to see you. That's somebody I haven't seen before. Vanessa's already in. Usually we gotta wait for her to get done with work. And loads of Bacon's here. Fuzzy Fork 8, of course, Insight Freedom. I think I mentioned. Cranky Cletus, Crazy Scotsman, MCK. Boy, we are busy. It's blowing up around here. I thought I saw Uncle Jim. Wow. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, I am totally down with talking a little bit about gun cleaning, especially being that not that long ago I caught some flack for my gun cleaning methodology.
You probably ain't gonna like mine, but I'll be willing to share it. Chico, how are you today, bud? How'd you come through?
How about yourself?
Better than I deserve, brother.
I understand that. I feel the same way. Yeah, guys in the side chat, thanks for being here. I'm always excited about being here, and the topic that's awesome to talk about. So everybody has different opinions on their gun cleaning methods, and I'm curious to find out what everyone uses or does not use, or find out what works for you or doesn't work for you. So thanks for being here. Hey, Brother Insight, and everybody in the side chat. Bacon.
Big Al, Crazy Scotsman, A Scotsman,
Cletus, yeah.
Hold some bacon. Oh, Phil, I've gave him something to do. Go back to sleep, Bacon. We'll take care of this later, buddy.
I was wondering if you caught that.
Yeah, I just did. Yeah,
That's
but
good.
I'm excited to get that up. I've worked long and hard on that video.
Judge, thanks for coming, buddy. Yeah, so I guess I can, talk a little bit about. I'm gonna talk a little bit about before we get started about this storm thing. Here at Valdosta, where we're at, the eye wall of the storm just skirted us north. So my parents live a little bit out west, and they got really, 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 really hard wind and rain, but not too much damage that they could see. West of them, they got hit pretty hard. North of us, which is very surprising, the way that the storm came in, that leeward band of like storms somehow or another like missed us and kind of came north. So Eddie B and people like that up around Macon and Perry and north of us even got hit harder than we did. So while it was supposed to kind of come directly over us, it came in so strong that it didn't turn right and it went north. And you know, my prayers out to those people. I've seen some areas that I've spent some time in Florida. They're just devastated. So it's really kind of it's kind of amazing how much damage those storms can do. Speaking of prayers, Willie, I think we said Willie's just gotten done with surgery, so of course prayers going out to him. But yeah, we got pretty lucky. We had a couple days without power, or a day and a half, or whatever it was. We got power back yesterday afternoon, early evening, so not too big a deal. I got food in the fridge that's still good, so I can't complain too much. I'm eventually gonna have to get a generator that'll run the fridge, but yeah, that's been my drama for the week. Messing around with work, trying to get some work done without actually spending any time there. And then today I started messing with my motorcycle a little bit. So it's been kind of a busy week, but not really busy. It's been weird.
When you get that bike running, we need to get together. I'll meet you somewhere around Macon. We need to do the tour of Georgia. There's a bunch of international named cities, the international tour of Georgia. Like, got to start in Rome, man. Brunswick, those kind of places.
That does sound really cool. I think there's a Paris, Georgia, even.
There's a Paris, Texas, and a Paris, Tennessee, but I don't think there's a Paris, Georgia. But I have a list of them. I'll shoot it to you one day soon.
Jamie, Bacon saying you need to change. You got it listed as private instead of unlisted. Change that, and he can publish it. Because if it's listed as private, he can't do it.
Okay, you talking about on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to go out and do some pretty heavy riding. My bike, I like my bike, but my bike is not built for certain things, and the interstate is one of them. It's pretty light for that, and it's only a 600, and it's a 4-speed. So you're constantly looking for fifth, and by the time that VLX is kind of out of breath around 75, and it's just like wailing. I mean, you get used to it after a while, but at first it's like, oh my God, is it going to go apart? But it can't be any worse. Like, my dad has told stories about like those old Cushman scooters. Like, guys would take and run them on the interstate, on the highway, running 55, 60 miles an hour. That old Cushman engine, all that stinking cast iron just a squealing for hours on end. So
I saw we got Daniel, God is my judge, in. Hey, brother Daniel.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's a big crowd out here. 25 viewers. Good grief. What happened? That's interesting, guys. I thanks for coming out. That's interesting. Maybe it's because I don't think anybody streamed last night. I don't know. That's awesome. Guys, thanks for coming out. So and it's funny, you got 25 viewers, which I think is probably, I think we've peaked 30 before, but yeah, big crowd, and we're going to be talking about one of the more boring topics in gun cleaning. But I think it's interesting because it's certainly diverse, because everybody develops their own techniques over time. And I think somebody said something already about ballistol. I know there's a lot of people that do that. There's a lot of different ways to clean guns. And down here in Southern Georgia, the methodology is to not clean them. It's just to stick them back in
North Georgia too.
Yeah. They barely even get into closets anymore around here. I swear they store their guns in mud puddles and just kind of shake it out when they want to use it. I've seen many a Marlin and or 22s are the worst for it. Like, people think, oh, it's a 22, I don't have to clean it. I don't understand, but there's that seems to be really prevalent down here.
Easy, Big Al.
That's why they lost the Civil
Hey,
War.
there's Willie. Somebody send Willie a link if he wants to get on.
Yeah, I don't know about that being the reason why they lost the Civil War, but I would think, possibly starvation would be one of them, like one of the big ones. But yeah, Will, I'm glad you're on here, brother. That's really cool, man. I hope you're doing all right, and that surgery went well, and that this whole thing's going to be behind you, and time to move forward. Oh, a tie.
Looks like we got a new topic.
Yeah. Boy, that ain't that a deep well?
What's the new topic? Did I miss something? I'm behind.
Yeah, Big Al brought up the Civil War. I think that could start another one. That topic, but yeah, that's a deep subject.
Especially around here, you don't want to bring that up. You don't want to fight that over again because there's a bunch of guys down here that can still smell the powder burning. And they probably always will. Ain't that right, Chico?
And they reload too. So.
Hey, Chico, how'd you weather the storm, sir?
Me?
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I woke up. Well, yesterday I did all right, but this morning when I woke up, it was cold. I was like, I had to put my hoodie on. So, yeah, I mean, it was all right. We did have we had a tornado touchdown out here in Cobb, and we've got these huge sirens that's located all throughout Cobb, and when they go off every Wednesday at 12 o'clock for testing purposes. But when they go off, you hear them, and I believe it happened like a little bit south of me, kind of. I had some friends call me that stay like 10 minutes north of Atlanta. I'm like 25 minutes north of Atlanta. And they was like, hey, we had a tornado touchdown over here. I'm like, well, everyone's okay. So, I mean, it was all right. It was a lot of rain. My yard got plenty of rain. And me watching the after reports of it, I heard it was 7 deaths total, which sucks for anyone, so definitely my prayers will be out with those family who lost their loved ones. But, a lot of property damage, trees falling over.
And yeah, bad thing is, Chico, that number's up to 13
now. See, I heard that earlier, 7. Yeah. And so, yeah, they're still fine. With any of these weather events, whatever natural occurrences, it always climbs after, but I still pray for everyone, hope everyone was safe and stuff like that. So it's some rough places in Florida that got tore up. I got family down in like Jacksonville somewhere, Tallahassee or something that got hit pretty bad. But everyone's all right on my end.
That's cool. We had a good wind and rain here, trash cans blowing across the street. It was kind of like either playing Frogger or Mario Kart to get to work on Thursday. But I got a bunch of limbs down in the yard. I got to clean up tomorrow. So, but yeah, I want to thank Michael for getting the car seat wet in my convertible, which I didn't know until I sat down, and bringing in fall.
Yeah, fall is here. Well, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's doing that today. I mean, it barely touched 80. So yeah, and it's getting down to like 50 tonight. My heater or my air conditioner has not turned on.
Yeah,
it's so nice to actually have quiet in my house.
I made mine turn on for like 3 minutes just so it would suck some of the humidity out. And it was set on I had to set it like 69 or something. So it just come on. It came on once and hadn't come on again. It's colder outside than it is in my house right now. I just try to knock some of the humidity down.
Yeah. Well, being down here, I have to set mine like when the loaded cap gun is not in the house, it goes to 77. Because if I don't, it just runs constantly. And it's like, man, that's just like making it rain, I don't have dollars like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott's got going on up there, and said it was 66 in Nashville today.
Woo!
And I didn't know that the Emperor was a Stonewall Jackson fan. But we got lots of good stuff going on out there in the chat room, guys.
Eagle Eye, glad you can make it, brother. I hope things are going well.
So I take it, Willie, have you been admitted into the hospital, Willie, or did they do the outpatient thing, or is that something
He
we're
said he
going to
just got to his room, so I think he's still there.
Yeah, they're keeping him.
Considering what he had to go through just to try to get his meds last time, I assume he's going to play hell trying to get out there. They're going to have him locked up like Logan. See, a Logan's run reference is really hard to pull off. It just doesn't work.
I wonder did Willie sneak his? He said he was going to sneak something into the hospital.
They're keeping him. Good deal.
Vanessa asked about hunting with a 629. I think handgun hunting depends a lot on where you're living and how legal that is. But depending on what you're doing, I mean, a 357, yeah, you deer hunt with that. I mean, I'm not going to try for. No, I wouldn't try for like a 300-yard shot or anything. But yeah, within 100 yards, yeah, absolutely.
We're up to 29, man. Thanks for everybody coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really awesome.
So who wants to start about gun cleaning?
Chico, I think. Why not?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you what I've used and for years. And y'all probably gonna say, "Oh, he's so typical." I don't know. You guys ever heard of CLP? I use it. I like it. This probably was one of the first things that I bought myself. Besides, like my uncles, them having some concoction that they had or something like that. But when I started hearing about Ballistol and other stuff and hops and I bought this and I've had this, believe it or not. I think it's got a date on it. 02? I think it's a Julian date, I think. But 2002, I used this, but over the years, I don't want to say upgraded, but I upgraded to other stuff and tried other products.
Hey guys.
Hey Willie. So I use the Hops 9 cleaner stuff. A lot of those all-in-one kits that has the different size brushes and rods and but mainly what I clean is mainly handguns. I haven't had rifles but for the last 6 years. So everything was handgun cleaning, small barrels, something 3-4 inches.
It's okay.
But yeah, so that's pretty much me. I haven't used any of the man-made stuff unless my uncle had it in a discreet whiskey container or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it worked. That's kind of it on me. I think I always clean with my brass brushes and my little T handles, and I have to clean. I try to clean every time I leave the range. If I don't clean, that particular gun that I'm shooting, I'm grabbing something else that's clean to put on my hip, for my everyday carry. So I wanted to fire, but I haven't had a problem. I went days where I haven't cleaned a gun, and next time I go somewhere, it still goes bang every time I squeeze the trigger. So I'm curious about you other guys. Side chat in on the panel here. I know you guys are way more experts than me.
Daniel believes just throw them in the dishwasher, which works, by the way. I've tried that.
Yeah, he said the washer and dryer was too noisy. Has Willie Bullet Man joined us?
He has, sir.
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Hey, buddy. How you feeling?
Foot's really starting to hurt waiting for my pain meds, but the only reason they kept me is they put a drain in and it's just a pumping blood. So besides that, I'm okay.
What was talking
How
about
much are you
last
charging
night?
them per quart?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How much are you charging them per quart? That shit's
Yeah,
precious.
I know. I'm a quart lobe easily. Easily. The damn thing is I was 3 minutes from the hospital and they called me up saying, "Oh, by the way, we canceled your surgery." So my wife was really happy there. So we turn around, get all the way home. They call back, come back. Now your surgery's back on. So needless to say, it was no fun.
I'm sorry, brother.
That's okay. I'm sorry.
Right foot?
Yes, ma'am. Right
What's
foot.
the number?
So,
Right now, I'm an 8 out of 10. It's a throbbing. But I use my sonic cleaner to clean my guns a lot of times, and I use CLP. You know.
Everybody asks me what I run in my sonic cleaner. I run heavy duty simple green.
Yeah.
Not straight. All you need is about a half to 3/4 of a cup, depending on the size of the cleaner.
Yes,
and
sir.
It cleans them real good. I've got, and yes, I've heard of CLP.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I found that works really good. It's bore cleaning foam from CLP. You just stick this down the bore and squeeze it, and it doesn't run everywhere. It actually, it's like that great stuff foam. It actually fills everything out and then sits there and eats. I had a lot of buildup in my 35 Remington, and it got every bit of it out with about two passes of a brush and a patch. So I like that stuff. I use frog lube on a lot of stuff, mostly my ARs. The trick to frog lube is a little goes a long way.
Make sure it's working.
A lot of you hear a lot of people bad talking it, bad mouthing it, and all that. It's because they smear it all over everything and then put the gun back together. That's bad. You got to wipe all that stuff off. Of course, I got my edge red. I got mineral oil. It depends on the purpose of the gun and what I'm going to be doing with it. But that's pretty much what I use.
30 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, Kyle.
Is it just me? Is everybody locked on Willie right now?
Yeah, I can't see the side chat, guys. I'm sorry. I just have my phone with me.
No, I'm talking about you. The only picture that I can see.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the sound in the background.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The door will be shutting right now. Chico, I was going to bring in a single stage press with me, but the missus said, hell no. And especially since they were going to kick me out after my surgery, needless to say, you know, nothing was snuck in.
Right. I was curious. Okay, cool, brother.
So, sure, I'll go next. Why not? I'm kind of a traditionalist when it comes to gun cleaning. I use Croyle for my general purpose cleaning, and if I need something a little bit higher test, I just use Hops number 9. And for lubrication, I just use the Croyle. So I like the oil can kind of just that way I can control how much I'm using, so I don't end up getting a lot of stuff everywhere. And it's always worked real well for me. And I went through like an evolution of using different cleaners and stuff like that. And I found like I used bronze brushes, and I found that one of the problems I was running into was the cleaning solvents were dissolving the brush, giving me a false positive on having copper fouling and stuff like that. So it took me a while, and it was hilarious because I went right back to Hops number 9, which is what I started with, and I've always used it to great success. Great success. But and then the Croyle was something that I don't know. Somebody said something to me about it once, like, "Hey, this stuff works really well on lead," and I tried it, and it worked really well for me, and I've never had any problems with it since. If I need like a spray lube, I usually use Deep Creep, but that's just because of what I have on hand. But it was funny because I posted something about either gun cleaning or I think it was gun cleaning, a gun cleaning video, and some dude like hammered me in the or at least mentioned that I was retarded in the comment section about not using a penetrating oil to clean guns with, and I'm like, so what are you using besides penetrating oils? Like, It's kind of, I'm like, yeah, you can use like solvents, but most of the solvents are a penetrating oil with some kind of cleaning solvent in it. It's like, if you don't need that, then why use the extra solvent? So that's what I've always stuck with, and I usually have a now oil. On the other hand, I really love Croil because I've tried Rem oil, I've tried some of the other stuff. Dad used Rem oil, and I think Rem oil was what was he's got like a really nice little Remington rifle, and the trigger group on that like gums up like immediately. It's so like fine. You know, those old Remingtons, really, really, really fine machining. And I think it's like Rem oil is what's required or what's asked, and it gummed up. And I think he tried a couple different ones, but Coral, I'm never having problems with Coral gumming up and getting kind of tacky over time. So that's been my go-to, and I've never really moved off of that once I found it. And I don't use any lead solvent. If I have to, I'll just go after it with a chore boy and a little bit of hops, and then follow that up with a patch or two of Croil when I'm done. And I don't dry rub. Like I run a wet patch or a moist patch through it for my last shot and just leave it like that.
With that pro oil, have you tried JB paste with it also?
No, I have not. I do know about it, and I just haven't had to.
That works real. I used to use that with my precision rifles. The Crow oil with the JB paste, and it polished. I mean, you're talking about cleaning your barrel. It just polishes it out.
Yeah, I've just been really lucky that I haven't really needed to. And as far as like barrel polishing, I'm shooting. Those powder coated bullets seem to do that, man. I like have no problem with my barrels not being just super shiny. The only one that looks not smooth is the barrel in my Kimber, but it's always looked like that, like it's tooled. It's just always looked like that, and it's never seemed to bother anything. But everything else is like mirror type shine. I think my dad told a story one time about waxing the barrel of his gun when he was young and didn't know any different. He actually used wax. It's like hilarious.
Trying to make it smooth.
Well, he just didn't know any different. Like he was like, "How do you keep your gun from rusting?" And he was a kid, so he's like, "Well, wax keeps things from rusting," so he waxed it.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I started using the Crow oil and the JB paste when molly coating your bullets was really big for the bench rest shooters.
Yep, I use Super Molly for my lead bullets and stuff like that, and I think the Crow does a better job of getting the molly out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cletus and Tim are talking about bore snakes, and I keep a bore snake for every caliber that I'm taking to the range in my gun bag. Here's my 44 Magnum. I've never used it. I've always just brought it home, took it apart, and cleaned it. But 223s, 30 cals, you can pretty much, they work really good. Just real quick, drop it through, whoop, and done. Yeah, I'm a fan of bore snakes. I like them.
I'm in the exact same boat, Kyle. I've got several bore snakes, like a 38, a 45, and I think a 30 cal sitting in my gun bag, and they're always
they
in
don't
there.
take much space, and they're really effective.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never been a bore snake fan. I always just use my Dewey rod, and I got to get into. I have them. Don't get me wrong for pistols, but on rifles, I've been more scared for some reason. I don't know. It's stupidity on my end, but I'd rather have a plastic cover rod, going down my barrel.
Well, I mean, there's nothing really on a bore snake that can damage your barrel. I mean, it's got a brass weight on the end of it. If a brass weight damages your barrel, you need a new barrel anyway.
I know, Kyle. I don't know. It's some old school in my mind. Military. Come on, you got to have a rod going down your barrel, not a.
Well, no, you got to feel it.
Yeah, you got to feel that twist.
Yeah, it's funny because I know that, it was when I was a kid, it was really faux pas to ever clean a gun from the muzzle. But due to, getting into lever actions and all this other stuff, it's become so much more popular. Like I'm not pulling the gun apart and pulling the bolt out to clean it. I probably should though.
No, I do. Well, I mean, why not? That way you can clean the slide for the bolt and everything else too. Just it doesn't. You got to take one screw out, Nathan. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, I'm with that. All right, but it's a screw. If it was a bolt, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's a screw. So every time you use a screw, it becomes one less use of that screw. right? A screw only has so many times you can put a screwdriver in it before it's unturnable. So yeah,
Depends on if the screwdriver fits the screw.
yeah, but even then,
you gotta have gunsmith screwdrivers. Then you don't have to
even
worry about it.
then, I mean, you guys might be perfect, but I can tell you this: like, you put a flat blade screwdriver, I don't care if that thing's perfect in my hand. No, it ain't gonna work. It's gonna 1 out of every 3 times. It's gonna slip. It's gonna scratch the gun. Nah. Now, like once a year, I'll break that thing all the way down and clean it. Or if I shoot it a lot, but if I'm only shooting it every once in a while, nah, it doesn't clean from the board. But all the almost all the cleaning rods now come with a guide, so that you're not screwing up the bore. But it's just funny how that's changed.
Now, a second ago, Chico had something on the screen. What was that, Chico?
That's that crow.
Oh, okay, there it is.
That's what you're referring to, right, Nathan?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And you guys know probably what I use this for. And
oh yeah,
I know it's awesome in the automotive industry. And I'm sitting right here reading. I'm like, I never read this. So I was like, for cleaning guns and rifle barrels. But I know it works awesome on vehicles, rusted bolts and stuff like that. And most of it, like mine says, not for retail sales. So you guys, my parts guy turned me on to this like 4 years ago, but I never thought to even use it for lubricant or gun oil cleaning. But he also turned me on to this too, this Lucas, and I think I've heard this in the side chat.
Yeah, so, Cranky likes that.
Yeah, so I've got a few different stuff. What I first showed was my main stuff, like when I first started getting into guns, the CLP and something my uncle concocted in a can or a whiskey bottle or something. I don't know. But yeah, interesting about that. I never read it. I feel kind of rookie-ish for not reading that can.
What I like about Frog Lube is gunpowder residue, powder fouling does not stick to it. It will not. I can run 500 rounds of 223 through an AR, field strip it, take a paper towel, wipe it down, even on the back side of the bolt where it always gets grungy, and it's fine. Put a couple of drops of liquid down in the bolt carrier, throw the bolt back in it, and it's clean, good to go for another 1,500 rounds. It won't stick to it. I don't know why. But I like Frog Lube on my semi-automatic rifles just for that reason, because the main problem with them is they get gummed up. The harder you run it, the more liquid it becomes, and I've never had a malfunction due to Frog Lube because I actually read the directions and know how to use it. The people that have is because they put way too much on it. A little goes a really long way. I've got one AR that I've switched over to this Ed's Red. Let me move Ducky. It's not marinara sauce. It's actually Ed's Red. I've got and no, I'm not drinking it. I've got a gas can over there with a bunch of it mixed up in it. I actually add a little bit of synthetic motor oil to mine, so it's good for the stocks. It's good for everything, and it works great. I mean, they come pretty clean, pretty quick. So,
Eagle Eye asked about the type of cleaning rods, and I think mine are aluminum and brass. I don't think I have any stainless steel ones. If I did, I would get rid of them because that's too hard. But the carbon fiber rods, I'd love to have a very professional like gun cleaning setup, but they're just too expensive for what they are.
Just the rod's $70 for a 30 cal. I mean,
yeah, it's just
you can buy a Dewey for like $35.
Don't know that.
The carbon fiber you can't, Willie.
No, it's an aluminum rod, but it's covered with carbon fiber.
They're
like $35 for a 30 cal.
Yeah, well, what I've seen has been like $70, but of course, then again, you just go to Cabela's. That way, you can play with it. You go somewhere else to buy it.
Yeah. I'm just I don't want to say I'm a cheapskate when it comes to cleaning guns because I'm not, but no, I got like a couple hops kits and a kit. I can't remember. There was a kit that I got, and I don't remember who it was from, but it came with a rod that I've used for almost every handgun since. I really like the way it works, and for whatever reason, jag or whatever you put in there, it doesn't undo itself. So it's either the way that it's, you know, I think the threading on it is left-hand thread. I can't remember, but it works really well. And I moved to jags. I moved to like all brass jags years ago, like the plunger type instead of the loop ones, and that made a big difference in cleaning. Yeah, like those exactly.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, the plastic ones aren't worth a crap.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They're okay for as long as they last. They're just not going to last very long.
I remember using them as a kid. The old plastic loop, you know, and you put it in there, and you got a little bow tie of a cleaner of cleaning patch. Of course, cleaning patch was a cut up T-shirt. Man, and you know what? So we cleaned a lot of guns like that, and it wasn't no big deal. And there was, you know, so I don't think there's really a right way or maybe a wrong way. That's probably a wrong way, but there's no perfect way. I think you can just get through with whatever you got.
Yeah, I saw Uncle Jim did a video where he had a material cutter and he's cutting up old T-shirts, and I started doing that. And now I got bags of free cleaning patches. Instead of giving it to Goodwill or something like that, I cut up all my shirts now. Turn them in.
The hell with somebody else using them. I'm going to use them to the end.
That's right, damn it. But I tell you what, I wouldn't wish one of those 3-piece cleaning rods you screw together like the GI ones. I wouldn't run one of those down any of my barrels anymore.
Oh, good. Well, you didn't care about that barrel.
Yeah, those things are horrible.
Yeah, I've used the cut up T-shirts for years. I think all my T-shirts right now are being used as rags. And I got a bag of. I was getting these bags of cleaning patches for like $4 for like thousands of patches, and I think I got 3 bags of them, and I've been using it. Like I don't even know if I'll ever run out of them. Tons of them.
But I hate to put it this way, but size does matter. 22 cal patches are manufactured for a reason. The 30, if you just use a T-shirt or something on your 22, unless you use a 17 jag, it's gonna get stuck or rip or something and not do its job. If you want to use a 22 cal jag, use a 22 cal patch. Have any of y'all run into that?
Yeah.
Never had a problem with T-shirts with 22.
Yeah, I just cut my T-shirts a little bit smaller.
They're a little bit thinner, and they just fit better.
Well, T-shirts, by the time they make it to actually gun cleaning rags, those things are really thin. They're like see-through thin.
Well, yeah, this one's not. I use this one for my 44.
That's Royal, man. Is that a Crown Royal bag you're using there?
No, it's a T-shirt. It's a ripped up T-shirt.
It's a Barney shirt.
It looks like you actually hulked out in that. Like,
I did.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
And then my eyes did that weird thing.
Yeah, that purple color went real good with the green color of his skin. It was an awesome sight.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn now.
Yes, sir.
I grew up a long time ago, but I always used Poppy's number 9. Works good, lasts a long time, smells good. But then I've discovered Edge Red, and I refuse to pay $6 for this when I can buy a quart of mineral spirits, a quart of acetone, a quart of kerosene, and a quart of transmission fluid, and have a gallon of solvent ready to go whenever I need it. And yeah, that's going to cost you about $20, $25, but you got a gallon, not, what is this, 2 fluid ounces that I paid $5 for at Walmart. So there's an awful lot of these in a gallon of Edge Red. And I really believe that if you try Edge Red, just get you some in a little bottle like this. And just, you don't want to contaminate your whole supply. So you don't want to be sticking your mops and patches and stuff when they're dirty. down into a big old container of Edge Red that'll contaminate it. I always use the phosphorus brushes, the bronze brushes, but I always use a guide like this, and I um, always do the best I can to get that. To get to, I use a brass rod, like I told Eagle a while ago. I don't want to use an aluminum rod in my barrels. And as far as lubrication, I've found out that this Hoppy's gun oil and Outer's gun oil is basically so you can take what? How much is this? $5. And again, there's a whole lot of these in that one bottle. And
I
what I
actually
do,
bought a case. I bought a case of 6 of these bottles off of Amazon, and of course it was on the medical side of it, and they're calling it a laxative. Well, that's not what I use it for. But there was a case of 6 of those, and I think it was $9. And each of these bottles is 16 ounces. I've
yeah,
got plenty of mineral oil, and if you want to make it, try it first. If you like it, start buying it by the gallon, because you can have 5 gallons of gun cleaning solvent. That'll last you. I shoot quite a bit, and that lasts me a long time.
yeah, you can buy those same quart containers in gallon jugs and mix
It's
up
cheaper
4.
that way too.
Yeah, it is. It's much cheaper. And then you got 4 gallons. And man, I've started buying like those 1 quart paint cans. You can buy them at Home Depot. I'll fill one of those up and then seal it up and give it to all my gun guys, my gun buddies, for a Christmas present. And
Okay,
then,
here you go, guys. I knew I should keep this note for a reason. I've got it broke down per ounce. CLP costs $1.44 per ounce. That's right here. Little aerosol, CLP, or little pump spray. Ballistol is $1.13. Frog Lube is also $1.13. Hoppies is $1.50 per ounce. Edge Red's 14 cents.
Wow, that's a big savings.
and it's going to work as good as any of that stuff you spend a bunch of money on. The reason it's called Edge Red is because it was developed by Ed Harris. And y'all have seen the Emperor has mentioned Ed Harris on some of his videos.
And not the guy that played in the movie The Abyss.
Not the actor. He was, I think he was an armorer in the military. He did a lot of work on the 357 Magnums. He followed in Mr. Keith's footsteps. Yeah. Daniel's saying that mineral oil is used to lubricate military sewing mechanisms. It works great on guns. One of the things I think we're all guilty of is over lubricating our firearms. Not that I think we just put too much oil on some of the stuff. Remember, guys, this stuff is case hardened steel, most of it. I apologize to all the Glock fans. So we got this case hardened steel that is going to last a long time, and it's going to wear evenly, and all we need is a little bit of lubrication. If we over lubricate stuff, especially if we're not using mineral oil, what happens is that oil is going to turn into a glue. Basically, it's going to turn very tarry, and it's not going to last long. It's not going to work real good, and especially when we get into cold weather, we're really going to have the works gummed up.
It's the same thing as over oiling a cast iron skillet. When you're trying to season it, you pull it out of the oven, let it cool off, and you got this gunk. What the heck is that? Well, that's too much oil is what that is. What?
I got Uncle Jim telling me Glock slides are harder, and the Scotsman's getting on to me for apologizing to the Glock guys, but which is living proof that you just can't please everybody unless you're the Waffle House. If you're the Waffle House, you can please everybody. And what happened to Nathan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Barry probably died. Yeah. He'll come back on.
Yeah, it's happened to me before.
The Scotsman saying CZ life.
What that is red. You said who was the guy who came up with that Jamie?
Ed Harris.
Okay, and it's only 3 ingredients, right?
4.
Kerosene, paint. Okay, I see. I was looking for something else. I was actually, and it's interesting if you look up whatever your choice or your particular gun oil. Look up the MSDS on it. Yeah, I follow that a lot because of the industry I'm in, and some of the stuff overlaps, and it's basically with fragrances or how it smells to you or whatever that manufacturer wanted to smell like. But for instance, I looked this up. It was like 4 or 5 ingredients, but 1 or 2 of them is some kind of fragrance or something. You know what I mean? Because this stuff definitely does smell good. The board cleaner does to me. So, but yeah, I seen the Lucas one, Pro 7 something popped up when I typed it in. I'm not sure some of these other seasoned guys are familiar with that stuff, but yeah, some of the ingredients overlap or they use the same ingredients. It's just they're basically selling you the same thing with their little twist on it. So yeah, I'm interested in finding a cheaper way to do stuff always, as long as it's safe and as long as it doesn't damage my firearm or my investments.
I'll tell you what, Chico, come by, or me, you, and Jamie will hook up and eat some chili dogs with Carter. Of course, I know he wants a burger.
Yeah, he does.
I'll give you